Everybody, thank you for joining us here. We're here for a great topic, which is squatters and vacant properties. This is something that comes up every day with so many people. So that's why my name is Dean Graber, and here with my team.
I'm Evantz Saint-Gerard here with Team N.W.E, Keller Williams Realty Landmark, and our special guest today is the one, the only, Chris Gottlieb. Chris,
Hey, how you doing?
Tell us about yourself. What do you specialize in law?
My specialty is landlord-tenant evictions in New York. My firm practices in all the boroughs. My practice is focused on Brooklyn.
Okay, awesome. So, Dean, you have a question that you wanted to ask Chris, right?
Yeah, Chris, so I'm so glad that you're here today because two scenarios come up today, two things. A real nice gentleman, but he has a home and he was in the hospital. It's a multifamily home, and he left a unit vacant in his house. I mean, this is a home that he lives in for, his adult life. And he came home to find out that he had a new friend in the house. And that friend was in a room who changed the lock on a room, and he knocked on the door. He had asked the gentleman basically, "What are you doing here?" And the guy said, "Well, I've been here for a couple of months. I live here now." Like he was coming off like it's his place, and I couldn't believe it. I've been in real estate for a long, long time, and I was still shocked to hear this because I don't even understand how this stuff happens. And I was just wondering if you can share if that happens to somebody, what should they do, like immediately and long term?
Well, immediately you call the cops because they're
Yeah,
trespassing
right.
and cannot prove that they've been there for over 30 days. Then they need to be removed. And so you want to show that hopefully that he doesn't have like a lease or something, or a mail that came in beyond 30 days. Because if he has something like that, the cops might not want to deal with it. Now, if he simply locks the squatter out and
Right.
the cops don't, threaten to put him in jail, um, then the squatter would go and file an illegal lockout proceeding in housing court, and the court would figure it out, to decide whether this person should be let back in or not.
So it sounds a little
Um,
challenging.
yeah, and if you don't do what the court says, you get in a lot of trouble. And if they've been there for over 30 days,
Well, the
then
guy
you
was in the
have
hospital
to.
2 months, so it could be. Yeah. The gentleman was in a rehab for
Yeah.
2 months. So it could be.
So how did he get in? That's an issue for the cops. If he
Okay.
broke in, if he broke in and it's the guy's own home, then I think the cops should do something. If the cops don't, you would have to do a 10-day notice to quit in housing court, unfortunately. And if they don't leave after 10 days, then you file the case. Yeah, but that's an unfortunate situation. I've had people with properties that they're selling have someone move in to those empty properties and then produce a lease saying that they've been there for over 30 days. And if the cops won't remove them,
Right.
that's an issue. If you have the chutzpah to lock them out somehow and go up against a legal lockout proceeding, then you have to have your ducks in a row. You have to have a good attorney, because you could get in a lot of trouble if this person did have rights as a squatter or licensee, because the squatter has rights if they've been there for over 30 days,
Okay. Can I ask you a
unfortunately.
follow-up question on that? How do you
Yeah.
determine, how does a third party, like a police officer, if law enforcement determine if it's a valid lease or just a lease? I mean, a document can be gotten.
Yeah, they don't like to determine it.
Okay.
So the question is then, is the cop going to arrest the landlord or not? Yeah, and it's a tricky situation, and it's a situation that is very fact specific. What the cop
Okay.
should do, and that if the landlord's locked someone out, is tell the person that's locked out to go to housing court. But there has been situations when the cop has threatened to arrest the landlord. Yeah, and in that case, and the prudent landlord would just say, okay, let the person back in. The risky landlord might call the bluff on the cop, but as an attorney, I don't recommend that.
All right, so Chris, I have a question for you. First, for a situation like this, basically, what would you recommend as effective security measures to prevent squatters coming in into your home?
What you really need are cameras. If you have an empty home or an empty property, you should have surveillance, because that whole situation that I spoke about could have been avoided if there was proper video surveillance. And key cameras or ring cameras, that type of surveillance is pretty easy to come by and not expensive these days. And it's great evidence.
You know, that's great information because yeah, we have vacant houses in our real estate business, and
Yeah,
often.
get cameras if it's a neighborhood where people might break in. You should have cameras, because you could show up on Monday and they'll show you they'll have the place fully furnished and show you a lease from someone you have no idea. Then you got to start talking to the cops, and the cops might not want to do anything.
As you're talking right now, I was thinking of something besides just the cameras. Maybe for us realtors who are selling the homes, if we have permission from the sellers, let the neighbors know basically that the house is vacant, or basically just keep an eye, not even tell them it's vacant, but just keep an eye on it. If you see anything strange, most of the time people who are coming to the house will be accompanied with a realtor, either myself, my business partner, or somebody from our team. Here's our card. If you see anything strange, somebody that doesn't look like they belong there, basically give us a call.
Sure. And then hopefully those people would show up to court and take your back.
All right.
Cameras are better
Nice.
witnesses.
I think I'm going to advise all our clients basically
Hope
to have
so.
cameras. Now, are there any long-term
Yeah.
strategies to keeping the property squatter free that you can recommend besides cameras, getting in touch with an attorney like yourself?
Yeah, you need to lock your place up
Yeah.
tight. It's not easy dealing with squatters in New York. They've been there over 30 days. You got to do a 10-day notice to quit, and then you're stuck in housing court. And housing court takes way too long. You end up with a money judgment, but if the person who's squatting is insolvent, which they usually are if they're squatters,
All right.
it's
For the
worthless.
folks that don't know what that means, could you translate that for us?
Well, a court telling you that this person owes you 30 after you spent a year in court evicting them, and they could give you a money judgment, but how are you going to enforce that money judgment? There's no such thing as debtor's prison in the U.S. You can attach to their paycheck, maybe, but that's difficult, especially if they're insolvent person. Insolvent meaning someone that could just declare bankruptcy easily.
Dean, do you have any other follow-up questions?
I mean, that was my main thing with that. The two were, what do I do with this other gentleman in Brooklyn, and how does he proceed, or anyone that is like that? And then also, how do you protect yourself, with this? And the cameras are the big answer to that right now.
Yeah, they're not hard to come. They're not hard to get cameras,
Um,
but it's hard to get someone out once they're in.
Exactly. What I want to make sure that people are aware of, basically from these videos that we're doing, we don't want to scare you, we don't want to alarm you, but basically these things are happening. The whole purpose of these videos is basically to give you information so you know exactly what to do in case a situation like this arises, and you will have information. You'll know exactly what comes next. So if you do find yourself in a situation like this, or you're not sure what to do, please, 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 please talk to your attorney first before you do anything. Give me a question. All right, so Dean, what's your question?
What about handling tenants during a sale? What's almost good tenant etiquette, if there is such a thing, or good landlord-tenant etiquette? So you can almost help walk them out help them leave on a friendly terms when they're not always willing to do so. Like, I mean, I don't want to threaten people, or not to threaten people, but what's the best way to deal with tenants in general? Is that a
You
valid topic?
you need
Because it comes
sure
up a lot.
you need to be very clear with what you're doing. You can serve them and you're able to end the tenancy because
Can we
they don't have a current
pause
lease.
right now? Let's just wrap up this
Yeah.
one, and that's a different topic because it's not really a squatter thing. So let's just do the
Sure.
Oh, okay.
closing. That's a different topic. All right. So Chris, if somebody finds
Okay.
themselves in a situation like this, how can they reach you basically to get advice and be pointed in the right direction?
Is my direct office line. You can call my cell phone 20.
All right, and I'm Evan St. Gerard, real estate agent with Dean Graber. We work in. Dean, tell them the boroughs that we work in.
We work all over the place. Brooklyn, Queens, Nassau County, Suffolk County, the Bronx, and but we can also help you anywhere with great referrals around the country. But our direct areas are those five areas. Those five areas.
All right, so you can reach us on our website, which is mynyhomesales.com. Our office number is 7. My direct number, my cell phone is 9. Dean, what's your cell?
My cell is 517.
We hope you got some value out of this video. If you have any questions about anything, feel free to reach out to Chris. Feel free to reach out to Dean. Feel free to reach out to me. That's a mouthful. Anyway,